ask you this, Faze. Is it just your team against his team and y'all have no whatever going on? Or is it just somebody agitating things trying to get you to go against this brother or vice versa?
I'm on the same mission I've been on since you met me, Hevy. Who
Right.
who the main? What's the name you done, or the main name you done heard me speak on since you met me?
You already know Malachi Z. York.
Okay, I'm on the same thing. No matter what anything ever looks like, the circus show is for everybody else because they stupid, so they deserve stupid shit. But this
Right.
is the same mission it's always been. They want the entertainment, they want the distractions, they want the drama, they want the illusion. I use that to my advantage.
Mm.
We still getting work done. We still got things being handled behind the scenes that have absolutely nothing to do with this circuit show that they call in the conscious community. It had nothing to do with the music industry that they think is strong or powerful. Before we shut that down, it ain't got as much power anymore. No matter what the endeavor is, it's still based on the same thing I've been saying. So listen, I'm not a
I had a
part of
friend.
their thing.
I had
I'm
a
not a
friend.
part of their illusion.
I had a friend argue me down, and though I know nothing about Malachi Z. York, let me preface it by saying that I know nothing about Malachi Z. York except
Yep.
for a small little nugget. But I heard
Mm-hmm.
someone say, you know, that that whole movement, the Nuwapian movement, is the conscious community. And I argued this person, and I said the first time I ever heard of Nuwapian in a conscious community was through Sod Netter. I said before that, I never heard of the Nuwapians being piled in with the conscious community before that.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I just want to ask you, being a student of his, what is Nuwapians a part of the conscious community?
Whoever said that, I think I understand what they're trying to say. The Nuwapu or Nuwapians, that was the conscious community before the mainstream infiltration that started around like 2014, 2015 with people like Young Pharaoh, before
Hmm.
that took off. And then you had the Rashad Jamals and everybody else that people are trying to group me in with that came later. So
Yeah.
that was the conscious community, as most conscious communities you was going to get. Other than that, you would have had the National Guys and Earth. You would have had, just the
Right.
normal stuff like the NOI, all the people
Right.
that's up under the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Clarence 37X or 13X or whoever, Prophet Allah. You would have had those people. Uh, the closest to anything beyond that would have been African spirituality, Ifa, Yoruba, Igbo, all those
Mhm.
people from the tribes in Nigeria, all these people. Uh, yeah, when it comes to all this stuff that everybody talking about, this woke stuff, overstep, all
Mhm.
that, even the Rastas, Rastafari, they were learning from Malachi York. You see what I'm
Mm.
saying? A lot of people don't understand that. Haile Selassie wasn't that the main teacher of those people when it came to the sciences that people were accessing to be able to speak in this woke conscious community conversation. If it were not for Nuwapu, there would be no melting pot where people could try to access different degrees at once. Everybody would be exactly where they were in their bedroom. Wouldn't be no living room.
So
You
here's
see
the
what I'm
question.
saying?
So here's the question. Okay, because the first time I ever heard the word I'm religious, not I'm spiritual, not religious, was in the Christian church. That was the first time I ever heard that. I'm religious. I mean, I'm spiritual, not religious. But
That
for
means
years,
that means I believe in God, but I don't want to have the discipline. That's what they were saying.
right, right. So I wanna ask you. I don't know if you've actually studied in depth with this. When do you think the spiritual community movement began?
The spiritual community movement began somewhere around 2017, 18, somewhere around 2018. The spiritual community movement, right? Because you got to keep in mind, you had to give the agents like Marshall, look at his name, Young Pharaoh, you had to give him time to get traction, right? You had to give these people time, Nature Boy and the rest of them, you had to give them time to gain a platform. And then after they gained a platform and got some traction about themselves, you had to give them time to build an atmosphere that would better benefit the business they were attempting to carry out. All the Talib Kweli's and the rest of them, they had to build an atmosphere. The atmosphere has to be predicated upon some type of psychosis that's going to benefit them. And that psychosis was what you call a spirituality now.
Okay, now
And
here's the
look, a lot of these people have
what
gone on
this
about their lives. They've gone on different business ventures, And these people are out here straggling, looking for new leaders to take advantage of them.
So let me ask you this: was the spiritual movement an organic movement or not?
What do you mean by organic?
Organic, it happened naturally, or was it conspired? You
It was
understand?
conspired. It was conspired. Okay. So everything I say is documented. Everything I say, you can go back and look me up. That's the difference, right? So when people be saying, I just saw some military egghead ass nigga talk about, you got people like 607 Ark at Phase One that lost their way, and they now they got spiritual ego. I would tell you apart, word for word. You don't know what neither one of those words mean. That's why I see it's a conspiracy. Yes, it was conspired. It was conspired to shut down the conscious movement, which was the conscious movement, shouldn't even have been called that. That's why we didn't call Dr. Malachi York the conscious man. We called Dr. Malachi York the science man. We were
Now wait,
learning to become.
you're gonna lose somebody,
Uh,
Faith. Wait, before you lose them, your difference between conscious and spirituality.
okay, conscious means okay. You see how somebody punch you upside your head, you go unconscious.
Right.
Conscious is talking about a certain part of the brain that you're accessing actively, and then there are other parts of the brain that you're not accessing actively, like what's referred to as your subconscious, meaning your attention or focus is not placed there. And then you have a certain type of capacity with both of those areas, your unconscious or your subconscious. You have conscious capacity, you have subconscious capacity. Not everybody has the same type of capacities. So just to say conscious doesn't even make sense. That's what I'm saying. They don't know what the words mean. To say conscious is more of a neuroscience conversation than a conversation of esoterics. They
Right.
lost. The thing is, we called Dr. Melikazi York the science man because we understood the sciences of the things that we were talking about. That's the exoteric side. Everybody walking around with the esoteric side where they get stuck, so we got to go within, go within, go within, not understanding what that means. They didn't have the correspondence. Once you get correspondence, it start making more sense. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Where you say, okay, I can't just have esoteric. I got to be exoteric also. I got to be able to speak both sides, both languages. So if somebody say, I'm conscious, if somebody say, I'm spiritual, what you're really saying is you're caught up in the esoteric web. You don't know how to explain these things. And then I challenge people to say, come on here and talk to me about it. You use two words. I said the 607 unction. First of all, phase ones and 607 unction should not be grouped together when it's talking about spiritual teachers, whether or not you want to say I'm a leader or not. When it comes to teacher, period, take the spiritual
Yeah,
thing off.
that's why
607 Unc is not a teacher. You understand? He's a shock value puppet. That
he
is not a
followed.
teacher.
He followed a
Go ahead.
blueprint. He followed Charleston White's blueprint.
There you go.
And a lot of people are going to follow that blueprint because it sensationalizes
There you go.
real topics.
There you go.
Now,
Somebody said they never heard Rashad. You wouldn't hear Rashad Jamal talking about me. Y'all have to understand this game.
I
Rashad
have.
Jamal went one round with phase one and blocked me. He
I'm not
can't say
going.
he couldn't respond. He was calling people, doing interviews, saying my name, all kind of stuff, making posts, all of that. He did one round and dipped. 19 Keys said I had negativity and dipped. The people that y'all trying to defend all of this stuff, they don't want to go intellectual war with phase one, let
I've had
alone spiritual.
I've had one encounter with Rashad. I never have any issues with none of these brothers when I talk to them. I never had an issue, but I did ask him a question that he stumbled himself on and kind of reverted the conversation. So I knew he wasn't as in depth on a particular subject as he portrayed himself to be. I didn't go
Right,
and talk about him when it came to that matter. I just kind of left it at that. You know what I'm saying?
right.
I believe. Let me ask you this: did the conscious people start a movement, and did
This
the
is not a
spiritual
movement.
did the spiritual people start a movement, and are they two different movements, or are they the same people just lumped up in the same thing using words erroneously? You understand?
Yeah, I get you. There's no movement. There's no movement. There are phones that people have, and
Mhm.
computers that people have, tablets that they have that they turn on, and then they click on people's pages, and they comment or they link up on top of a stone mountain to play some drums and go home. There's no movement. This is not a movement. I know what movement is.
I
Movement
disagree.
is. Go ahead.
I'll say this: I believe it's movement. It's just not progressive. You know what I mean?
Okay, I understand. I think I said something similar to that in the past. That's
Right.
what I mean by movement, progressive. So we on the same page.
Right.
Yeah, it's not. So the thing is, I've seen that. I've seen what it's supposed to look like. So regardless of whether or not they call themselves conscious or spiritual, all this shit is a facade. They can't play though. They can't play when I show up. Everybody want to talk. Don't you want to know why I'm a nightmare to so many people? Because you can't say my name and I don't show up. You can't say my name and I don't be like, all right, let's play. Because the moment then I say, okay, then people going to see you not be what you saying you are. People going to see that you don't know. A lot of this stuff is a lie. You understand? Literally a lie. What is a lie? It's lustrous, for one, meaning it's supposed to be illuminated. It's a lustrous illusion. It ain't a real thing of expertise. These motherfuckers are based off of a lie. It's a lustrous illusion of expertise. The moment they step in the ring with us and they have to talk fact by fact, truth by truth, they can't walk because you just told a flat out lie. And if I'm supposed to be this agent and all this other stuff placed here, and I don't know what I'm talking about, I don't get no downloads, all this other bullshit, then why I'm the only one calling everybody out and not backing down from nobody calling me?
Here's the
You see
question you
what I'm
got to.
saying?
Here's the question you got to even ask your followers. Faise. What are they trying to obtain?
Who?
Like just any of the people that like I ask everybody that even listens to me, like, what are they listening for? What are you hoping to obtain? Uh,
You got two different. Oh, the people that's listening.
right, right. Like when you guys hear all these different teachers, what are you looking for? Is it just to acquire knowledge? Is that what happens? And do you feel like you have to consciously gangbang? If you follow phase, you have to be an enemy of this other person, or like I try to figure it out. I don't have the time in the day to try. I really don't care about it that much. But because we're on live, I'm asking the question. Like I really want to know why. What
Right.
is it? What is it? Because I feel like if you believe in an Elohim, if you believe in a council of gods to any degree, you have to understand that these are people that are working in different capacities, but they all are respected because of their power and authority, right? We should be able to have different ideologies, but still mobilize to a degree to where we're able to accomplish things as a community, right? That's one thing I respect about Malachi Z. York. I don't know nothing about the man except for what people tell me, and I saw the man build some land and I saw he had people on the land, and I say, hey, look, he actually achieved it. He built the place. He got land. He got people over there. Okay, that's cool. I wonder if we could do that on a larger scale.
Come on.
Has anybody said, well, here's the formula to do that on a larger scale?
No,
Here's
because they don't want. Man, this shit is so easy, bro. They don't want to do that because if they do that, then it brings attention to Malachi, and if it brings attention to Malachi, they don't feel like they're going to be able to bring attention to Malachi and still be a leader. You understand? They don't think they're going to be able to bring attention to Malachi and still be able to just talk. Because now, if you just talking, but you just show all this stuff this man did, people going to be looking like, yo, when you going to start actually putting this shit into action?
right.
And then your money games die. Because now you can't, okay, what you think, what you think is more cost effective? Right? For me to go and rent a building or whatever, or call in a favor to do a convention and make $40,000 by charging at the door, right? And I can pocket that or buy a car or do whatever, make a payment on a house, or to try to raise up that same 40,000 by selling books that I actually took time to put money into, to actually go the back for, and take that 40,000 and then try to flip it again by getting some more products made to actually get some land. And I'm not pocketing half of this stuff. If anything, I'm pocketing just enough to make the rent that I got to make just so I can keep this moving. And then I got to build this and hire contractors and hire construction workers and hire architects and hire all this to actually build this stuff, and then get everybody there, go through all these building code violations that they want to hit me with. Okay, all of a sudden I went from being able to get on my phone and go to the internet, promote myself, and do a show where everybody come and listen to me talk, and I make $40,000, to having a show that I'm actually about something and it ain't really benefiting me a lot. You understand? It's benefiting the people more that I'm working to get this. I got to do more action. Which one you think is more cost effective?
That's obvious. That's obvious, and it's sad that we even have to Play
You
with.
get why I asked that?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Because 19 Keys is talking about something. He want to figure out how he can bring the community together and do stuff like that. You know you're lying. You don't even have to figure it out. You know that there's a blueprint. You know there's one, but you just don't want to talk about it. Because now it's going to be like, well, then what's up with Malachi? Where's he at? What happened with him? Then you got to answer that. Then you got to show what people like your leader said that he was in there. Farrakhan said he's in there on trumped up charges. The moment Farrakhan said that, the whole NOI should have activated to help Malachi get out. Your leader said he's in there on trumped up charges. I got the recording. I have proof of that. So, okay, then why didn't the whole NOI? Because the NOI want Farrakhan to be the leader.
Okay,
They
so
want him to be the all-powerful one, the minister, the Messiah, all this other stuff. All the while people like Nuri Muhammad are waiting to try to take his spot.
who?
You
Let
see
me
what I'm
ask you
saying?
this. Let me ask you
Go
this.
ahead.
Malachi Z. York was a Messiah-like figure. I'm assuming, right? Um, he's wherever he is at this moment. Physically, he can't be the representation of his message. Um, who is the leader? Who
The
is
leader of what?
who was of the Nuwapian movement now? Who was anointed to be the next? Who is
Dr.
giving the
Malachi York is still here. He's still in contact with his people. He
Oh,
still
okay.
writes. He still writes letters. He's not
Got
gone.
it.
He's still here. He
Also,
still
they allow
talks.
he's
They still
granted
do update. Huh?
also granted allowance to communicate to his people.
He's able to communicate with who the government allows him to. So he'll have people. I know who he's in communication with. I just don't say a lot. So I get stuff hot off the press. If he say something and they go out and say that he said something and he didn't say that, I'm gonna know that. You see what I'm saying? Because I know what he actually said. Meaning to the point. I'm not talking about I can read a letter. I hear his voice, audio. You see what I'm saying? So and it's only gonna keep getting more up close and personal from there. If you understand what I'm saying, it don't stop. So
So
yeah, he's still running. He's still running the show,
so
but
let me
not
ask.
like. Go ahead.
This is a really good question. This is very prevalent for today and time. When you think of a place like Tamaray, right? When you think of it, and you think about say things that are going on like a ICE, and the forced movement of a removal of immigrants, illegal and legal, right?
Right.
When you think of a place like that, um, what would be the response to all of these things that are going on? You get what I'm saying? Say if ICE was to come to the Tamaray facility during a time like say now. You get what I'm saying? What is the type of response that is given? Did Malachi Z. York prepare his land for such a time? You get what I'm saying?
It's only so much preparing of land that you can do. He prepared us, right? Because they come in and they use abrupt force. If you're familiar with Amos Wilson, you read the blueprint for Black Power, you understand that when their hands are tied behind their back, they still use abrupt force,
Mm-hmm.
which is what the Moors, nationals, and sovereigns are forgetting. And I think they're going to continue to forget until these devils remind them that if they get belligerent, there's nothing you can really do. You see what I'm saying? So we were being
Whoa,
warned.
wait. Did you just say that if they get belligerent, there's nothing you can do?
There's nothing you can do when they get belligerent.
What?
I mean,
So
unless you're
you
ready
just
to,
you
unless you're
just
ready to go to
succumb?
war, huh?
You just succumb to whatever their will
You
is?
don't have to listen. What I mean by there's nothing. I can explain it. What I mean
Okay.
by there's nothing you can do is saying you're not going to just be able to say, okay, they're belligerent, so let me try to talk them out of it, or let me still stand on what I've seen many sovereigns deal with this, where they still trying to talk and argue their case and all this other stuff, and they either end up in prison, lost
Niggas
in the
pulling out the
system.
Constitution. Niggas pulling pulling out the
They
Moors.
pull out their passports. They pull out everything. They explain that do not detain or DOT. They do all of that, and they still take them down. You
Mm-hmm.
see, it depends on who you're dealing with, what you're dealing with. My point is, we were prepared, meaning we were told this not only could happen, it would happen at one point in time where they would come. So it wasn't ICE, it was the federal government, it was the FBI, it was state troopers and military and helicopters and guns to our heads. We already experienced that. What do you mean? There's nothing he could have done. The
Mhm.
wisest thing he did was make sure he wasn't there when it happened.
Mm.
That was the wisest thing he did, because ain't no telling what they would have played. They could have attempted to assassinate him, and the perimeter, the brothers that are there, well trained, could have responded, and it would have been another thing where they would have trumped it
But
up on
what
the
about
news like it was Heaven's Gate.
but what about today and like just today in the present time? If Tom Ray was in existence right now, like right now, and Malachi Z. York is in the condition that he's in right now, he's able to still get word and things of that nature. But if all these events are transpiring, ICE was to come up to that facility, what would be the response?
I don't know. The
Mm,
only one who, yeah, the only one, because then we would have to factor in that Tom Ray would not still be what it was. Listen, if you understand how fast he built Tom Ray,
mm. No, I don't.
there
I
were
don't.
only, I think there were only 9 acres that were developed when you look up the land. When you look up
Mm.
Tom Ray, you see the images. I think that's only 9 acres. We had 476 acres.
Oh wow.
He was nowhere near finished developing Tom Ray. That was just that wasn't even the front yard. That was the mailbox. You see what I'm saying? You have to understand there was a whole big house to be built. And people drove by and they were just taken aback and in awe about the mailbox. When you walk deeper into the land, there were other things people didn't know nothing about that were moving and going on and being built. We never got to develop all of that. So you have to factor in 23 years of development and look at what he did with a few years, 3 years. You see?
Can I can I ask these 100 people a serious question, and can you guys answer it seriously? Can you answer it seriously? Have you have you psychologically given up the fight that is against you because you feel powerless?
Who? Who?
No, that was a
Where you
question
get that from?
to the 100 in the room. No, that wasn't even based off of anything you said.
Yeah, I'm saying like where you get this question from?
Yeah, because
Powerless.
it's a preface to what I'm about to say.
Okay.
Yeah. That had no bearing on your statement.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
think so. I was asking where it came from.
Oh no, yeah, it came. I'm hearing a lot of no's. 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 Because I wonder, because why hasn't the fight taken place
What fight?
to whatever degree a person may feel that should be.
What fight are
Like
you
for
talking
me,
about?
I'm not like I know there's some of y'all that are radical, some people that are radical phase, right? Like they're the people that think that the issues will be solved by them grabbing an AK and standing in the streets with a couple thousand people. And I think that's the most foolish thing to to think of. That could have worked in like the 1700s or the 1800s, you know. But
Yeah.
what do you say to the person that thinks that the we will do it by militant force? Uh,
That they need that whatever's ailing them, whatever traumas that they think the world is responsible for, they're gonna have to realize they're responsible for it. Whatever healing that they're trying to charge the world with, they're gonna have to understand they need to charge themselves with it. I used to be like you when I was 15,
mhm.
16. I had thoughts like that. Whereas like maybe one day we'll have to go to war. We tired of the Mike Brown stuff. That you grow up, you understand more, you mature more, and you start realizing, wait a minute, yeah, I was upset, but I didn't have a plan. I was upset, yeah, but I didn't have strategy. I was upset, but I didn't know where this could go. You know what I'm saying? If it did go that way, because we could do that, but then we just lose a couple thousand people, and then all those people don't have their children, don't have their fathers. You understand? Those children, those mothers and fathers lose their children out there, It's just a lot of bloodshed unnecessarily, and that's not a sign of wisdom. When you got niggas screaming at the screen like Rashad Jamal, Thomas, they're not serious about the revolution. We ready to pick up guns, da da da. And like I told you, when them folks pulled up on him, he did not shoot it out. He went into captivity. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all. They telling y'all that when it comes to the folks, shoot, fuck that, we going to war. I got my AK. I'm not playing this shit. Let me oil myself up and stand here and scream. And then when they came and locked him up, he didn't do none of that shooting. If I tell you that if the people try to take me down, that I'm going to shoot it out. If I ever say that, please understand that I mean that.
Mm-hmm.
If I say to you, oh, this nigga send a threat, if he see me in person, he better duck. I'm not saying that because I'm saying that because I'm standing on what this is. These people don't stand on what they're saying. They're saying it because they know it's going to do whatever is necessary. It's going to provoke or evoke or invoke whatever emotions necessary to get them to whatever next degree they think they're going to access. And a lot of that is
Heavy,
based on
what up?
delusion.
Okay, now y'all didn't even let Faise finish, and I saw y'all come in hot. So I want
I think somebody, I was like, who the fuck just spoke? I didn't know how to have it.
yeah, I'm
What's
gonna
up? What's up?
let
I'm
Faze
Sorry
land.
finished.
for
Y'all go ahead.
interrupting.
I don't
I'm
have
gonna
to
let
hog the
Faze.
mic.
Wait, hold on. We're not gonna do that. Hold on. I'm gonna let Faze land his plane, and then I'm gonna allow y'all to give y'all rebuttal to whatever he said. But I'm gonna give him back the floor to respond to whatever you guys are saying. You guys got it.
What's the
Well, Faze, you got it. You
yo,
can pass
yo,
it to who?
yo? Listen,
First
I'm
off,
done. I don't even know what's going on. So I'm telling you right now, I'm done.
I
I'm
do.
done with my
Okay,
Go ahead,
no,
statement.
let him finish.
I just saw them hit the request as you were
Okay,
speaking. So I'm gonna allow them to give
Uh,
their. I'll give y'all a chance
I'm
because
done
I
with
know
my.
some of y'all be
I'm done
excited to
with my.
talk to Faze. So I'm giving y'all
Nah,
chance.
I'm done with my statement. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm done with my statement. We can move on.
hey,
Let's see what
first
they got to
off,
say.
shout out to both of y'all. Sorry for interrupting. Y'all are talking some real good shit. Um, I also wanted to put into my comment about what Brody said about people going to war and shit like that. There are thousands of people that been killing every day and losing families every day. Young ones, old ones, all of the above. The real war, far as like the truth telling that spoke about the war, was Jesus Christ. And Jesus been giving us plenty of messages. Even before Jesus, God giving us plenty of messages. Even the Ten Commandments. People want to believe whatever that they want to believe. Blasphemy is blasphemy. We both know that. But regardless of of humanity, we as the people ignored the message. Not saying like us, but other people around this world ignore the truth, and truth applies war when people disagree with the truth. And I'm rebuttaling, at least saying, far as adding on to what you're saying, Mr. Faze. But thank you for letting me speak my piece, and I understand everything that y'all saying. And yes, all this bloodshed needs to stop. Guns, it serves no purpose but killings and death, regardless. But if we have to blow down, we have to blow down. No Diddy, uh, because life is too short. Life is too short, and it's even shorter where Jesus had showed us the truth, trying to trying to give us the opportunity to possess the truth, but everybody soaked into the lie.
So my brother, and I'm gonna pass the phase, but I'm gonna ask you one question, and please
Yeah,
don't take my question as a harsh interrogation or an attack against you. Okay,
yeah.
I just want to pose this question for you. Um, to a person living today who's seeing the government like place chemicals in foods, they have drones that could drop bombs and
Mm-hmm.
things of this nature, and this is being hurled at them to a certain degree. Some possible threats to some of these things, and all this is right in their face, you know. And these people, the people that gave you the book that you speak of Jesus to a degree, they're not interested even in the book to that degree. You know,
Right.
they use it more as a pawn to control the people, and people know that. Even though what the book says is good, the people live by it, but these people don't. They've obviously said, "I am not going to live by that standard." Right? So now, what did Jesus say to do about that? And I yield, and then Faze can go after you respond, and then Razi
And
got it.
I'll go after Faise. I think I need to introduce myself too.
I particularly don't have the answer, but
Make your
but
eyes
I hear your question.
listen. Make sure your eye is single. And they're talking about your third eye, right? But they're just saying basically make sure that you have your own discernment. You get what I'm saying? Like you know what's true, what's real, but it's based upon yourself. You get what I'm saying? Don't follow the rhetoric of the church and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with it. Like I said, I mean, in your sense, look at it like levels and steps and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like what you just said was it's in certain senses in this type of area. You know what I'm saying? That shit is not gonna fly. You get what I'm saying? Because a lot of these people are not religious on here. You get what I'm saying? So whenever you start talking about religion, then people look at you like, huh, nigga, what's going on? So you have to actually look at things in a logical sense to make sure that shit is based upon yourself. But yeah, no, go ahead. Cause I gotta introduce myself. But go ahead, Face.
Okay, once again, my brother, can you respond to my question, and then you can pass it to Faze. I think your answer was you didn't know, right? To kind of a degree, right? So I'll give the floor to Faze. Faze, you got it.
No, I don't want to say nothing else. Yeah, I'm good on that part.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah. Real quick, I'm not saying that religion is the culprit or the site of the event. I'm saying that okay, when it comes with religion, it is a organization to appease God and or conditionalize self use as like independent of self, independent of internal and the external part of yourself and what's conditionally uh meant for you. So I'm not really all for it with the religion, but I mentioned Jesus because Jesus is all forms of religion of this earth and so on. You know what I'm saying? I hear you about the church. I hear you about the preachers. I hear you about everybody who's falsifying or gratifying to deem what God is or what pulls them towards God.
Hey,
Sorry
look,
for
let me say,
saying
I will
much.
say this. Let me say this. Don't feel bad, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because look, let me tell you something. Anybody that think they're gonna get on here and try to shut you down because of Christianity and Jesus and all of that, if you just gave them 30 seconds with me, I shut them down. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? So anybody who think they got that approach to try to shut you down, they coming from the wrong way anyway, and we can shut that down. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Jesus is king. You know that.
Yeah,
Jesus is Lord. You know that. And if you
yeah,
understand what that means, then you don't have to prove that to nobody. The main thing is I agree with what your message is. Your message is stop the bloodshed. I heard you. I didn't hear what you said religiously. I heard what you said based off of what you were bringing. And I agree with that. And if you want to stop the bloodshed in the middle of the church and you screaming that, then I'm in the middle of the church screaming it with you. If you want to stop the bloodshed and you in the middle of the mosque, as long as you can have the same love for the Muslim brother, then you'll be able to stand with both of us. And you can have your belief and not be attacked for it. So no, you didn't get on here and speak religion and shut it down. I'm just observing the whole playing field.
Mm-hmm.
right.
So if your goal and your mission is to stand in agreement when it comes to stopping the chaos, the disorder, the bloodshed, all of the lights, I'm
Mm-hmm.
100% with you. And I'll be with you before I stand with the spiritual person that want to stand there at like everything is peace, love, and light. But I can look deep into their eyes and understand who they really are and what it is that
Mm-hmm.
they really here to do. You understand
so
that? So I see
Yes,
you.
sir.
Just keep walking with Christ and walk after Christ's example. You
Right.
understand that? So you can understand how to maneuver better. Not saying you don't have your maneuvers already, but there's always a better maneuver, especially when you come in with this type of energy. You're gonna know how you'll be targeted. You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
So I don't think you have to defend your religion. Your religion is your religion. Your belief is your belief. If I hand you a brick and I hand the other brother a brick, I hand Heavy a brick. I got my own brick. We all go to the center. We can start building.
Right.
I don't really care about the ideology. If your ideology works, then it benefits the whole. If it doesn't work, it
Fact.
don't benefit the whole. So
And
if your
and that is
ideology
all that I'm
led you
saying.
to stand in agreement with me, then we on the same page.
And
Yeah. No.
yeah,
Yeah. I like that. I
Well,
like
God
that too,
bless.
man.
powerful.
salute.
Yeah, I like that too, because it like I said, it's we're all really, about the same message that's in here. I feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we want a peaceful change, you know what I'm saying? And we want to stop being oppressed, or our people to stop being oppressed. I'm not saying everyone here is going to be oppressed, but we have to, in some form or way or another. And if we're under the tax dollar, you know what I'm saying? You're kind of oppressed. You get what I'm saying? So we're trying to look for the solution, you know what I'm saying? And the solution is to come together. I feel like sometimes, but on here, my introduction, I want to say my name is Rozzy. Of course, I think you met me before Faise. Of course, Hevy, and I don't know, bro, below me, but nice to meet you. And I do like I said, I don't like knock nobody's thought process. You get what I'm saying? It's just give me examples of how we should come together. That's what I'm wanting to know.
I just gave an example.
He literally did. He gave you one. He said, if this brother's in the mosque and he's preaching this message, I'll go with him. If he's in the church, I'll go preaching this message with him. What he'll take that over the person that's just talking spirituality. He'll talk. He
Mm-hmm.
he mentioned the way to do it is, can two walk together unless they be agreed?
Yeah.
Amos 3:3. See, that's how it works. So agreement, but the agreement has to be upon one thing, the truth. You see, if we can agree upon the truth, if we can agree upon the harmony, if we can agree upon that, we can walk in that together, and we can figure out ways to get that stuff done. So Faze gave great examples of how that could be done.
Nah, for sure,
The
for sure.
main example was the bricks. Where I say, if I give you a brick, you a brick, you a brick, I got a brick. We all come
Mm-hmm.
to the center. I don't care what color shoes you wearing. It should be that
Big
simple.
fact.
I want this to be clear. I know nobody in this plane knows what they're talking about. I already
Say
knew that before I got
that
here.
again.
Nobody here really know what they're talking about. So your amount of agreement that you're going to get from me is based on my ability to see whether or not you're going to work. I can stand in agreement with you in the middle of the church if you're going to work. If you're going to try to work against me, then you're going to see how much Christianity ain't valid. I'll expose it in a hot second. But if you need validation for Christianity, if you're working with me, you'll get it. If that's what's going to help get this work done, then I'll stand there right with you. That's how I was taught. So how can we come together? Man, everybody got to stop basing whether or not we can get work done on belief and whether or not you agree with somebody's belief system. You don't have to agree with their belief system. You can respect it. And then it's irrelevant when it comes. Look, you see the construction workers, they come and they building the buildings that people walk in and out of freely. They're not worried about whether or not the dude next to them is an SA, a Mexican, Hispanic, or this person. Everybody's side by side getting the work done. They're going to get their pay. They're going to go home. If you can look at the construction work and see that they can get that done in real time, and look at your community and see that y'all haven't been able to come together, only thing stopping y'all from being able to come together is y'all are too focused on everybody's shoe color, whether or not they believe and say Ashe.
Well, everyone has to have a common goal to work towards. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It has to
So
have a
what is the
similar
common
goal.
goal?
The similar goal is peace. You get what I'm saying? Everybody wants some form of peace. So you have to pray upon that. But then in a sense, you do have some people that want destruction, and they believe that destruction shall be coming out of peace. You get what I'm saying?
Some
Like
people find peace. Some people find peace in having multiple sexual partners.
mm-hmm.
Only issue with that is when you're searching for multiple sexual partners, you could be having sex with somebody else's partner,
Yeah.
which
That's
leads
called
to war.
chaos. Yeah.
So listen,
Ain't that the truth?
do you hear what I'm explaining?
No, I
That
understand what you're saying. Yeah, yeah.
you may be saying this is a goal. The issue isn't whether or not you're Hispanic. The analogy is the issue isn't whether or not you personally have a goal. The issue is whether or not everybody on this construction site has a goal. Because if it takes one person to throw off the whole thing, then that's not unity. That one person say, fuck it, I'm not going to man the jackhammer, or I'm not going to make sure that the electric saw is primed right. Then we're going to have some problems. They didn't want to do their job.
So you believe one apple can spoil a tree?
I don't have a belief.
Well, you know.
I don't know if one apple can spoil the tree.
You just said it though. You're just saying one person, like a tree, regardless. The apple is part of the tree, and
I
I
didn't
mean,
say nothing about a tree. I
but I'm
said
thinking,
that if you're on a construction site
yeah.
and one person don't do their job, it can fuck up the whole system.
You got to
Because
cut
each
that
and
off.
every person that's there on that construction site is hired there to do a particular job. This ain't the theater where you got to understudy.
Nah, I get it. But
Everybody's that's there on that day, especially when you walk in them high beams and all, it's game time. So if somebody want to slack off, that could end up fatal for multiple people.
yeah.
I didn't say nothing about a tree.
No, I'm saying like I was using an analogy, but so you're saying because the analogy is you know what I'm saying one African roll a tree, and I get what you're saying, but what that is, and then that point is that means separation. Like you have to separate yourself from that person, or you have to separate that when that person has to separate itself from the entity. So banishment basically too. Do you think that, but that doesn't cause a lot of, because then you're saying, because a lot of people have their own version of peace with their own agenda. But uh, I think I know what you're talking about though, man. But I feel like they
You
got,
took my analogy and went to another analogy. You know the analogy wasn't broken.
yeah,
So let's
I
deal with the
was about to
construction
say the
site.
same thing.
Let's deal with the construction site. If we get rid of the dude that's causing problems, now what do we have to do?
you have to
You
find
need a
another
support
person.
beam,
You
so
have
you
to find
cannot
another
even have a
person.
stable.
You
You
said
cannot have a stable building without a support beam if you got bricks, wood, and
no,
other
hold
stuff.
on. You said we got to find another person.
Yeah,
We got to replace that person,
you
right?
have to replace that person.
Because the goal doesn't change.
Facts.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
The goal doesn't change. Now, if you're not able to find a replacement, you have to find still a replacement, or that job doesn't get it doesn't get finished. So then how does the job get done?
It's either it's two options: either find a replacement placement, or the other workers have to take on that slack.
That's what I'm saying. You have to find a replacement, or you'll still even if they take up that slack, they're replacing that person.
Right. For
Still,
sure.
yeah,
So the goal is ultimately the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
To get the
yeah.
building complete. Anything goes wrong, that building is deemed faulty. You're looking at lawsuits in the future, possible death, all kind of stuff.
But what I can't get over is the replacement part. Like, okay, where and like what? How is this gonna happen? You know what I'm saying? In this sense, like
How's what going to happen?
the like say if we cut off the bad part, you know what I'm saying? Like replace them, or let go of the one that's not aligned, right? But you still have an attachment. Still, you still and like it or not, we still have an attachment to those type people. You get what I'm saying?
That's on y'all then. Y'all, I don't want to go nowhere near your building. Even with the way you
No, I'm
talk,
saying regardless, everyone has an attachment. Still,
I don't want. Did you hear what I said?
yeah,
If you responsible, and I'm not saying you right now. I'm
yeah,
saying you
I
right
know,
now,
you
not you
talking about,
personally.
yeah,
If you're
yeah,
responsible for building something, I don't want to go nowhere near it. Not a restaurant. Not I don't give a damn if it's a potty house. I
yeah,
don't want to go nowhere near it because it's faulty. If you're telling me that us completing this job is based on whether or not we're going to have an attachment to somebody that's deemed useless or harmful to the production and the progress of the production, this is why y'all are in shambles. The conscious community, spiritual community, all y'all think like this, where it's like, oh, we should still, let's not judge people. We all got devils in us. Meanwhile, the building don't even got a skeleton yet.
Right.
You have
but
to
that's what I'm saying.
judge. You have to use it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, my bad, bro. I didn't want to jump,
No,
but
you
I
got
wanted
to
to say
jump in
like,
because you know me. I'll talk.
yeah, nah, you good, man. I wanted to say this because I didn't want to jump in, but I want you to answer this. So you're saying throw away the empathy for other people, like so. You know,
No,
when I
see,
say this, go
I
ahead.
didn't say nothing like that. When
You're
I say throw
saying,
away the empathy, okay, do you understand? Okay, the construction, it's an analogy. The
yeah,
construction site is an analogy.
yeah,
The construction workers are a part of that analogy.
yeah,
All right. The main purpose of the analogy is getting something done and determining whether or not the people that are aligned with that job are going to maintain that alignment.
right.
You understand that? When you want to know what you can do, you can predetermine before you start hiring.
once a person has put their brick down,
No, that's not everybody's response. Everybody's response is they're going to reach down up under their seat. They're going to grab the Bible. They're going to turn to Acts chapter 2. They're going to look at him and say, what next, leader? because he presented himself. You have to understand psychology. He presented himself as the authoritative figure. So these people never had real authority. They have an illusionary authority. The illusionary authority comes from followers on Instagram, followers on YouTube, that they didn't gain. A lot of them didn't gain the following from teaching spiritual things. They gained the following from shock value. They gained the following from viral moment. They gained the following that didn't have absolutely anything to do with the mission. Had everything to do with weird stuff they done said, all weird stuff they done did, all kind of stuff. And then along the way, they sprinkle in a little spirituality. They sprinkle in a little Sophia in the Greeks. They sprinkle in Abraxas. They sprinkle in a little afterlife talk because that's inspiring. They sprinkle in, and people are like, "Oh, this might be some stuff that's going to benefit my need to be entertained." You're lying to yourself. You know these motherfuckers ain't taking you nowhere near the third, fourth, or fifth dimension. You know they ain't taking you nowhere past the reality that you have, naturality that you experience. You know ain't nothing supernatural going on. Not the water bottle dudes, not the niggas waiting on the wind to be just right so they can wave their arms and say they controlled it. Not none of that. They're not those ones.
But you
want to be entertained and think they are.
But they comfort your fears.
Yeah.
And they stroke your ego.
There you go.
And they stroke your ego.
Yeah.
And they align with all the negative aspects of you. And you love it.
They reaffirm your identity. So look, here's what these people have done. 607 walked in with a gray suit on, showed everybody turned the book act 2, and then everybody turned to act 2. Rashad Jamal walked in, gray suit on, so everybody turned to act 2, and they turned to act 2. Young Pharaoh walked in with that, and everybody just following. All the while they saying, we don't need leaders, we leading ourselves. Where you just read that from? Acts chapter 2. Get your stupid ass on. You doing exactly what they. So then I come in. This is the actual scene. I come in and say, yo, who the fuck is this guy? Everybody look at me. They're the pastor. Right? I'm like, no, that's not the pastor. No, he is the pastor. You just a fucking hater. You a smoothie. You a clout chasing ass bitch. Da da da. Okay, hold on, relax. You calm down. Who the fuck is you? Y'all in the pews. I'm not fooled. You're fooled. What does name say right here? This say Pastor Charles Taylor. Okay, Pastor Charles Taylor. What's your name, Pastor? Tyrone. You hating. He can have a different name. We have multidimensional names. We're different names in different lives. What's your name in this life? Tyrone. What's the pastor name in this life? Charles Taylor. Okay, this not y'all pastor. What's your ID say? Tyrone. Then I go and pull up a file and say, Charles Taylor is in the Bahamas. He's not even out here right now. You lying. That's the bullshit. Hold on. I'm about to call him. You stay right there, Pastor. We got you. Charles. So what's going on? Where you at, man? Oh, I'm at the beach right now. What's going on? God bless. God is good. Yeah, okay. I'm about to put you on speaker. Hey, yo, Charles, did you tell Tyrone to come and be the pastor? No, I didn't. Nobody's supposed to even be at my church right now. How did he get in my church? Oh, that explained the broken door. Okay, well, he got the plate mid-pass around. He collected money, and he said that he's doing it in the name of you.
He said lock the doors. Yeah, he said lock the doors.
Said lock the doors. Ushers, lock the doors. That's what he said. I heard him. Okay, so that was Charles Taylor. So what are y'all gonna do? No, that was AI. That wasn't really Charles Taylor. Okay, how about this? All right, you too, Pastor. You come with us. We're about to go on a trip. Where are we going? To the Bahamas. Everybody get in the bus. Come on, let's go to the Bahamas. Oh, but because I have on a blue suit, they're going to get in the bus. That's going to go over your head. So we all get in the bus, and we go to the Bahamas. And I say, yo, Charles. They say, oh, that is our pastor. I'm like, exactly. How the fuck did you forget? We must have been under some type of spell.
Mm-hmm.
And then I say, okay, well then, Charles, tell these people that this nigga Tyrone ain't your pastor, and you never told her. Yeah, I never said that. Okay, cool. And then you're gonna have still people say what? This nigga's still an agent. You're still a hater. You still don't want nobody to win except yourself. You did that for yourself. You did that for glory. You didn't really do it for true intentions. And I just walk off because I'm not even a member of the church.
Mm.
That went over heads. I'm not even a member of your church. I'm not a part of your community. I'm not a part of the conscious community, spiritual community, Christian community. I don't belong to your plane. I'm just showing you what the fuck is happening, pulling all the curtains back, and the whole while you throwing tomatoes and oranges at me. And I'm like, I don't understand. What's your fucking problem? We love 607. He taught us a lot. What did he teach you? Abraxas? I say, okay, explain it. Explain Yoda above, Abraxas, Sophia, all this other stuff. And then while you explain, I type it up. I say that's Greek philosophy. That come from Plato's in there. So he didn't. It was. Is that what you learned? Now what are you going to use it for? I don't know. Because I'm not even applying what he's talking about. That nigga talking about leaving Earth, getting up out of here, but he's still here. You ain't applying what he's talking about. See, it's always got to be hate. But this is what you get to. You can merit this. Like if you walk in and somebody is paying the wrong pastor, attending the sermon that ain't even supposed to be going on, and they saying that that's the real one, and you walk in and you show them all of that, and they still say, like they literally just prove what I just said. They still say you always hating on someone.
Mm.
Eventually, you just got to leave them to it. You just leave them to it. The Rashad Jamal people, I told them that. I said, y'all think I'm here to stay? I'm not. I'm just telling you, you're under psychosis. If you want to walk out of here, you can. I'm not staying here. And I'm going to turn around. I'm going to walk out slowly. Because I know y'all got y'all guns and sudden movement scares you. Right? But I'm not a part of this. If you want to stay, you can. And we left. I know a lot of people think when I bring up people and talk about people and you see me speaking up, that we're going to stay over there. But we don't stay over there. So people are allowed to stay. You're allowed to worship these people. Y'all are stuck on people. You're allowed to do that. You see 607 and Phase 1, y'all think y'all have to choose a side of people. Whether or not you're with Phase 1 or whether or not you're with 607 What happened? What I tell people, I said, if you're here for that, you're here for the wrong thing. What you need to be doing is figuring out what truth you're going to be able to find out from this. Because if you know nothing or if you know something, you'll be able to say, there's going to be a lesson in this experience. I'll be able to extract that. So Phase 1 is going to reveal himself. He's going to show himself. I'm going to study more about people so I can understand what are some of the short-tail signs. 607 is going to expose himself. People expose themselves. You see what I'm saying?
Right. So I get this question all the time. Well,
Yep.
I've gotten this question twice. And it was a very good question, so I'm gonna ask you this one. Okay. And I had to put myself in the position of the person because they said, you're a student and you're just looking for truth. You're just looking for truth. You're not looking for anything else. And you might just follow a person. You've been following this person for a very long time. Or could have just been a short time. Could have been a short time. And it could have been for a very short time. It doesn't matter. But now you hear another person come, say a person like yourself, come and say what that person is saying is wrong. Now, this person has helped them get over things or come to some knowledge, whatever, for whatever the reason might be. And you come and you say what that person is teaching is utterly wrong, right? And now, how is that person to feel
I
when
don't know.
this takes place? They look at well the way that I've been told. One of the people told me that it made them feel like they had to choose a side at that moment, like logically, right? Logically, I have to choose a side. Is this person right or is this person right? Somebody's a lie.
Good.
And I've been with this person and I've experienced certain things right? Well, like someone might say, right. Yaki, Yaki gave him a herb and it worked, So how can you say, that this is now? Do you get what I'm saying? Long story short, you get what I'm
I
saying.
get what you're saying. I'm
How do
looking
you
at the
respond?
comment. I hear you. I'm looking at the comment where bro said, this is the comment of the century. He said, I'm watching TV, bro. That's all. Exactly.
Right.
Imagine the days where Oprah was doing her thing. Well, I'm sure you had, because you had our elders. They used, the elders used to love Oprah like that. And if they feel
Mm-hmm.
like somebody came for Oprah, they feel like they got to do what these people on here doing.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, I'm not saying I don't have sympathy for people. I do. There's no but. What people need to see is, if you feel like you got to choose a side, when I tell you these motherfuckers lying and finessing you, if you feel like you got to choose a side, good. Good then. I'm not saying that that's what you have to feel or that's what you should feel. I'm just saying good for you then. Because if you say, fuck it, Faise one making more sense right now, let me choose his side. And you come over here, good. Because I'm telling you, ain't nobody out here that's got these major platforms that they not going to be able to do shit about me. So if you waiting to see who gonna be able to take down what I'm saying and shut it down, we done had niggas claim to be scholars and all kind of college graduates and all kind of, they done tried it. They couldn't do it. They ran the fuck up. Everybody end up doing the same thing. They either run the fuck up out of here or they have to concede at the end and say, well, I thought I knew what you were doing, but I don't know. I have to look more into what you're doing. You got a pragmatic approach. I love you. All kind of different stuff. Everybody come with it, but it's the same thing. They start as an op and then they realize they can't be one. So you in a good place. The little comment people, don't worry. They don't really exist. If this was my life, I block more people than often now. I just don't like to see, I don't like to look at people's profile picture and see weird ass art and think that you're going to exist in my reality. I don't like to see, hear people spam. I don't see people spam the comments and just say stuff and want to exist. So if you was on the brink of taking yourself up out of here and you came here to vent and that was your way of venting, I'm still blocking you. And then I would hope and pray that you finish and do us all that favor and go ahead and remove yourself from reality. You don't need to be here. That's how I look at them type of people. The only way that they're not looked at that way is that they stop presenting themselves as ops. Stop presenting yourself as an op to me, and maybe you can exist. So if you come over here, listen, not only are you in the presence of somebody who can't be stopped out here, they can't do shit with me. Listen, Rashad Jamal said, remember I told you, I'm going to keep flexing it. When I challenged Rashad Jamal on the bullshit that fall out of his mouth, he said, that was a career-ending move. You should have never did that. Ha, ha, ha. It's over for you now. I had 310,000 followers. That was earlier this year. 190,000 followers later. He lied. It did not end my career. We are not stopping. We will not slow down. We will not bow down. We will not join forces. We will not do any of that. The goal is to put the power back in people's hands. And I told people, well, I agree with you when you say we don't need leaders, as in we're not supposed to just be following people. However, if we're going to get people to understand that, somebody's going to have to be the leader to show them that. So that's the leader I'm being. And you don't have to follow me. Walk with me. That way, if you see me finna slip up on something, what I tell people is, you can point it out and say, yo, right there, you finna slip up. But if I'm walking in front of you, you can't see that. That means if I slip up, guess who just right there next to slip up? You. And the person behind you, if they follow you, they don't see. You know how this should be happening. Car pileups on the highway. When you see them car pileups, because they couldn't see shit. They were following too close. And everybody just crash, and moving too fast. No, walk, drive, run on the side of me. So when I point out stuff, this is the beautiful part. All y'all got to do is look at the track record. Damn, right? Because damn, it don't matter who it is. They can't do shit about it. Rashad Jamal, 19 keys, 607 Unk, El Nebi, that wasn't even no factor. I made that person a factor by saying their name and involving them in this. The most factory shit that they ever got was somebody posted them standing in front of Mike talking about they was ancient. Yeah, that wasn't a factor. Still not a factor. Whoever, you can name people. We'll take it there. They don't know where to go from there. And then we keep walking and they left and they spiral, because why would you play? So it don't stop. It's not going to stop with these people. Everybody, they're going to have people trying. Little people, big people, don't matter. So then when did I fall? When did I say, fuck it, I can't do it no more, it's too much? I'm ready for y'all. I'm built for this. We ready. I watched y'all try to tear Malachi York name down since I was 3 years old. I was the little baby saying, oh, wait till I get big. I remember all them blog talk radio days. Bobby Hemmett, all your disrespectful ass. All the shit you was saying about Malachi. I don't got no sympathy for you. Wiggle body ass nigga. You gonna be forever be wiggle body. Because you had all the disrespect, so I don't give a fuck about your pork chop chin ass. You will have to deal with me now. All y'all Brother Panic followers and all this other stuff, I told y'all in 2022, 2021, I said all them Brother Panic niggas gotta go. All the ones bringing people into darkness, more devilish shit, trying to cloak it as spirituality and consciousness, they gotta go. It's over. I said the conscious community leaders is gonna fall, and they started falling because I said so. Because I'm not the little child no more. Waiting, can I use my wand? It's not time yet, my son. I'm not that little child no more. Now I can stand up. Oh, you talking about voodoo? You talking about spirituality? I go outside, I put my toes in the dirt. Let's play. Wherever you want to take this, let's play. You're dealing with the one who was trained in everything. And I'm waiting on the motherfucker to prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
So someone, and now entertain this because this is a valid question. Some of you are making statements I can't even entertain. But someone said, how do you know that Rashad is capped though?
Oh, that's not hard. It's not hard. Can you pull them up? Come talk to me real quick. I'll show you in real time.
Okay, that was brother. Let's see if that was a brother or sister. Let me get back to that comment. My brother,
Come
whoever said
on
that.
up, Moo Creddy. Come
Hold
on
on,
up, Moo Creddy. I'm gonna show you why y'all names be doing that. But
I'm trying to.
it's always y'all names, bro. That shit be crazy.
Yeah,
But look though, come on up and I'll show you in real time. I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm just gonna show you. I'm not mad about your question or none of that. I'm just gonna show you. I'm gonna exemplify.
right. So yeah, nobody's trying to tear you down, brother. I don't attempt to do that when I bring people up. So, but don't be
That
afraid
ain't what
of.
I'm attempting to do. That's not what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna tear you down. I'm just gonna show you in real time. I could tell you, but can I show you better?
Right. So who was the brother? Who was the brother that said that? I'm trying to
Moo
finally go
Creddy,
back to the comment.
Moo Creddy,
MOO
MO. Yeah.
Okay, MOO Cruddy. MOO Cruddy. Let me find them. Brother, send the request. I'm
No,
scrolling
don't
down.
pick poison. When somebody tell you to pick your poison, no, don't pick your poison. You don't have to pick poison. You walk
Right.
away. When you realize it, oh, these are poison. Which one you want? That's like politics. The lesser of two evils. I don't want no niggas being evil running my shit. I'm just gonna walk away. You're not gonna make me choose some shit. No, I'll choose this. Not choosing.
Hold on. Was it this? I don't see the brother didn't. The brother didn't request.
I don't think you want to come up.
Okay. And I don't know some of you people to bring
Is
you
all
up.
his information wrong?
Let me
Listen,
see if.
here's what y'all may not understand. I'm doing my best to show you. Okay? Every now and again, there comes a time. Hold on, Moo, I got you. Every now and again, there come a time where someone comes through and they bring that new thing. Okay? That new thing is happening as phase one. It is happening. It's an event that they can't even reverse. It's already began. That event was inspired by Dr. Malachi Z. York. I'm telling you, they locked him up when I was 3 years old and took our land.
Right.
I was there to experience all this stuff that y'all are saying y'all are trying to get to. And now we here. And I'm saying, if I ask these people questions, you will see that you are now supposed to be in a whole different reality, but you're holding on to one that is dead. It is not living. It doesn't breathe. There is no motion.
Right.
It's gone. Go ahead, Moo. All right, so this Moo I'm talking to, right?
Nah, this Luciano, but I say he was all cap though, because I watched some of Rashad Jamal videos, and he was basically like talking about like how like King Von and them was like basically with Larry Hoover and Jeff Ford and them when they was trying to bring like the positivity and stuff like that, but they was still like killing each other back then. You know what I'm saying? They was still pushing them drugs and stuff. So I don't know. It comes to a point where you have to come back to right knowledge. You know what I'm saying?
How
But
old
at
are you,
this point,
brother?
people trying to go against.
How old are you, brother?
I'm actually 21.
Oh, you're 21. So when did you come into your understanding, and who were some of the teachers that brought you into that understanding?
See, some of the teaching was when he was like basically talking about the Anunnaki and how they like basically came into like making civilization and stuff like that and like on how basically on how he was like using Orisha, basically like trying to make it seem like he was using the Orisha to like basically use his energy to like push more consciousness into the community and stuff like that. But the whole time it's really like he using this for his own gain, like his personal gain and stuff like that. To where it's like we can't even really get the spiritual knowledge that he's really teaching for real, if he, you know what I'm saying, just trying to keep it to himself for real. Like if he, definitely if he don't want to collab or none of that with the other spiritual teachers, but how I really came into right knowledge is when I actually came across phase one, you know what I'm saying, video on Rashad Jamal's teaching. So
Mm. What when did you realize that he was, I guess, not teaching right knowledge to you?
from the moment, it's like, I ain't gonna lie, I seen a couple slip ups, you know what I'm saying? It's like he'd like go against the fans, or he'd like disrespect his fans and know what I'm saying, like little stuff, you know what I'm saying? You gotta like look at the little stuff that he do, you know what I'm saying? He don't really be trying to tell us like certain things that they be trying, like the fans really be trying to come up there and like he don't let us come up there and speak like this, you know what I'm saying? Like he'll just be like one sided with everything he say. So I don't be really liking that. And plus I do my own research, so some of the stuff he's saying, it don't be adding up to. But I be researching and I be really like I'm book smart, so I like to stay in my books. So yeah.
Powerful, powerful. I was hoping that the brother would want to come up um, and just give us his understanding, because have these new age spiritual teachers I really don't know. I don't know much about. You know,
Yeah.
to me, I kind of see them rising, and I can kind of see where the direction is going to go. But I see a lot of people kind of get into it, so I don't.
Cause it's
On one level, I'm like, okay, that's dope that the people are interested in this type of information.
right,
But then on the other hand, I'm like, oh my God, it's so detrimental on how they get the information and who
right,
is
right.
presenting the information. You know, so I think that beyond discernment, um, is being able to look to people that really got the right knowledge, and that's hard.
Right.
And I can understand that. I could, with so much information being put out in the world at this time, and you're just trying to figure it out. You know, you're gonna stumble at times. You know, it gets that way. So, Faise, let me ask you, what do you say to that person who's just searching? They're just searching, man. They
Basically.
they they don't they don't they don't claim to have superpowers. They don't claim to be from another planet.
Yeah.
They don't adhere. They're just looking for the knowledge to help them, get through this journey we call life. What do you
Because if
say to
we
that
are
person?
like, you know what I'm
I,
saying, like coming from like if we are descendants from extraterrestrials and things of that nature, then we should learn about the right knowledge of the extraterrestrials of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Like, but who has the right knowledge of it? You know what I'm
You
saying?
can
But
learn about it. Okay, so here go the situation. You can learn about it, but you won't know what that is. The ones who
right,
got the right knowledge about extraterrestrials will be the ones who are in contact with them. You understand that? Or
right,
the ones who are them. Other than that, you can look into as many files, books, stories, documentaries. All you're learning about is the possibility of the reality of whoever it is, whatever race, federation, whatever. You won't know. So if I sit up here talking about the Arcturians is this, the Pleiadians is this, and the da-da-da is this, and the Buddha Buddha this, you're not going to know that.
right,
And chances are, I don't know it either. And then
right.
you're going to have to look at this. Why would the Pleiadians call themselves the Pleiadians? So you're not going to talk to Pleiadians, and they're going to say, we're the Pleiadians.
Right.
Because they don't even speak that language unless they're speaking English to know to target their constellation or star system is that. That wouldn't be what they call themselves. You understand that? The Greys wouldn't call themselves the Greys. That's the color of their pigment. It's not a race. It's not a nationality or anything. Maybe they don't deal with race and nationality. You're dealing with a whole different conversation where a lot of these beings were sent to speak telepathically. Well, then you're going to have to try to interpret what those stories are. You understand what it is that they're saying? Even still, you won't know that.
Right.
So, again, if you talk about extraterrestrials and the descendants and all of that, you can't know that unless you come in contact with them. And they literally have a way of showing you. Other than that, even if you come in contact with them and they tell you something, just because they're extraterrestrial don't mean believe them.
Right.
You understand? Just because they're not from Earth doesn't mean they're going to tell you the truth. You get what I'm saying? What else?
Yeah.
Anything else? I mean, ask me some questions. Let's do rapid fire.
Because
Ask me some
when,
questions. You challenge me
cause
right now. I'm going to show you
right.
how you're supposed to handle this.
Because when it comes to like astral projection and stuff like that, is that when you come in contact with some of the like the spirits of the extraterrestrials or things of that nature? Because
I don't know who you'll come in contact with.
right, okay.
It's possible. Ask me another question.
Because all I'm saying is down my timeline is extraterrestrial beings, Anunnaki beings, or how they supposed to come back this, that, and
They
the
don't
third.
know
But
what they're
nobody
talking
really,
about. Everybody's talking about Anunnaki extraterrestrial. They don't
yeah,
know what they're talking about. They know about what they're talking. They don't know it. They're not familiar. They're not in touch with the Anunnaki, all that weird Anunnaki God stuff.
yeah.
That's all made up. They don't know.
All right.
Ask me another question. I'm going to show you how to do it. Keep asking me questions.
So yeah, when I was listening to Dr. Malachi's joke on like the slave trade and stuff like that, I was getting a lot of good points from it because it was like basically talking about how they took like everybody from like this one side of belief to this other side belief to where it's like, okay, if we gonna have a slave trade, we gotta have religion in play. You know what I'm saying? Because religion is, I think, is to me, it's like a demonic whole cult. Like I think that's
You
uh
didn't listen. So here's the thing. The best thing you're going to have on this walk is your question. That's the strongest gem I can offer you. That's what my first book is called, Why. The strongest thing you're going to have on this walk, all of y'all who like, they want to figure out spirituality, figure out what this life thing is about, question, 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 question. And once you have that question, you go on a journey, a pursuit to find the answer. And that answer can be merited based upon whether or not the thing that you found is applicable or not. Can you use it?
all right,
How can you use whatever it is you're talking about? If you just want to know a bunch of things, if it's good for conversation, dinner, you want to be smart, intelligent, you want to get a job, so they want you to know certain things or be able to regurgitate certain things or retain certain information,
all right.
then that's a different thing. But if we just on the internet and people are running around making posts about UFOs and ships and
Yeah,
Anunnaki and we was this and we was that, and
yeah,
nobody talking about what we are right now, which they're talking about we was this, we was that, and all the while they sitting at home on their couch on their phone. That's the only thing they are, at home on their couch on their phone. They're not traveling the galaxy, none of this stuff. And we're not going to get there by just reminiscing.
right.
If we were, you don't get there by reminiscing. How you gonna say we used to have vehicles that could travel at the speed of light? And then I ask you, how fast does light travel? And you
All right.
don't know. You understand what I'm explaining to you?
Yeah,
Or if I say Yeah, you said, we used to be able to ascend, and we understood the distance and time and speed, and I started
Right,
asking you
right,
about those formulas, and you can't tell me the answer. So you're not going to get there by reminiscing. If you're so interested in all that intergalactic travel and aliens and all that stuff, you need to
yeah,
enter into the fields of study that are already out there using the terminology that you're using. Get off of your couch. Go to school. Go to college. Go study. Take in internships at NASA. Be around the stuff. Go to different community labs and research centers and learn for yourself. See
right,
this shit for yourself. Get a telescope. Start studying. Calculator. Don't just tell him about the nigga named Galileo. You be
right.
Galileo of 2025.
Yeah, type shit. Yeah,
You with
Nigga
me? Everybody wanted that. That's why they want to settle on Tahuti's ability to be wise. Everybody want to be Tahuti. Say he's the god of wisdom. He's also the god of astronomy.
right.
Yeah, I'm gonna do. I've done so many talk. I don't even want to get to it. I've done so many talks on Tahuti. Most people do not understand Tahuti.
That's a
Most people,
scientist.
yes, and they've learned it from a hermetical aspect, and
Because
not.
that's later.
Yeah,
Hermetic
that's
is
definitely.
late.
Yeah,
So they came across
extremely
Isis
late.
and Horus,
Extremely
asteroid.
late.
You got to go Hecka.
Yep.
If you want to study, but guess who taught all of that? Malachi.
Right, yeah,
And they don't even want to go to, so you don't know where to start. And I keep sending you to, okay, well, he taught that over here. And you want to be like, well, who he learned from? Well, oh, okay. I thought you never asked. He went and traveled to Egypt and studied in the temples. He studied in over there in Europe. He studied over here. When he went to go study something, he went to study it. You got your passport? You ready? I just want to sit on my couch and make TikTok videos and act like people ain't doing nothing except me. Okay, well then I'll leave you to it.
right,
You can't play scholar and win this game. They're going to beat you out.
right.
So you think the government is worried about the conscious community?
No,
Word salad, they never scared no FBI agent.
I think they worry about the economy for I ain't even gonna lie. Like they
Yeah,
worry
that's all they
about
think about, survival.
yeah,
They're not worried about whether or not, you know what I mean? So all this stuff is jokes.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. If we want to be real, bro, they all think about themselves and how they gonna survive. You know what I'm saying? Like
And
for
the
real.
conscious community is not impeding upon their survival. They're not in the way of that.
Mm-hmm.
All they're going to do is run their miniature business. The government, only thing the government might be worried about is whether or not they're paying their taxes.
Most of y'all don't know. You haven't studied, but you might come across in your studies a woman by the name of H.P. Blavatsky, and she came up with something called theosophy. Um, and it's the root of a lot of your famous teachers and stuff. They in certain esoteric schools that came from that school. But one thing that was taught in that school was something called the root race. Right? They have a root race philosophy, and that philosophy stems from older teachings, but also it's a hidden racism in it. And in that
Mm-hmm.
in that in that it is saying that ultimately that there has been a being that humans have evolved to that has rendered other forms of human obsolete,
Mm.
right? So many of you don't realize it, but to those people that consider themselves, I know you consider yourselves the gods, but I mean the ones who is running this world,
And
right?
that's
Those gods consider you obsolete.
right. That's the
You're
guys that's like running
you-
behind the
you're not
scenes and stuff like that.
you're not a factor economically. You're not a factor militarily. You're not a factor on any level that they would deem as a threat, except for multiplying. just
Right,
your sheer, just your sheer existence, and you multiplying brings disgust to them. So this is what you're dealing with. So while the spiritual community is out here preaching that they're the gods, you have a people that's running the world that renders you obsolete. So now how do
but
you wrestle with that enigma?
but it's our existence. Like it's our existence detrimental detrimental to their existence. Like, you know what I'm saying, like, if we keep growing, does that scare them a little bit? You know what I'm saying,
No,
like, does that
no,
scare them
it
off?
depends on the system. So if you keep multiplying, whoever the them is, if you're talking about the government or the
Nah,
mayor or
nah.
the president or who you talking
Basically,
about?
more people like you, basically, in like a sense of like more spiritual, like not even spiritual teachers, but like students becoming more like back then when we didn't have like the right knowledge and stuff like that. Because I was born in 2004, so I don't know nothing about like
Listen, only thing I'll be able to do is benefit them.
right.
Listen what I'm telling you, right? If I increase in my studies, then they increase in theirs. That's how the scientific community works. When I expand my knowledge, and if I only thing I could do is try to keep the knowledge to myself, but then how
Yeah,
I'm gonna get it to y'all?
yeah,
So if I expand in my knowledge scientifically, whether it's chemistry, physics, notice I'm not talking about if I understand how to ascend my soul. That's
yeah.
over with. It's done. It's done. It's done. If I expand my knowledge, if I increase any of the scientific fields, it's only gonna help them. So it becomes less of a us versus them situation. It becomes a more of, are we going to take advantage of the days we have now to figure these things out instead of trying to make it seem as though because we're getting information that we'll automatically be shut down. The government isn't the only one who played a hand in locking Malachi up. It was his own people not being
Right.
able to get their lust under control, not being able to get their greed under control, not being able to get their want to have it or lust for power or their insatiability or their disdain under control. It was that. We can't keep blaming the nigga they call Big Brother. It ain't the feds we're
Mm.
gonna be able to keep blaming. So it won't be the feds or Big Brother or the government that stop y'all from saying, let me stop bullshitting, let me get enrolled in one of these programs so I can actually learn what I'm talking about. Let me stop
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
bullshitting. Let me actually go and get some land. Let's group together, actually get some land. Let's actually start growing our own food. Let me stop bullshitting. Let me stop bullshitting and acting that every time I turn on my phone and scroll in and see a star and the star is blinking because I don't understand how light enters the atmosphere because I didn't study it, that's a UFO. So let me post it and get
Yeah.
everybody else confused to think that that's a UFO. Let me
Nah,
stop
for real.
playing these games that because I know for sure I won't be able to prove that I'm in contact with extraterrestrials. Let me stop playing these games that these extraterrestrials are giving me some divine messages that are
Yeah.
coming from outside of the planet that you can't hear, but I can tell you because I'm gonna make sure you can know it, but they can't tell you because they only trust me. We gotta stop playing these games.
It's too many games.
If you want to keep playing, then you're gonna keep playing yourself.
Right.
Spirituality is dead. There's a psychosis that must be first diagnosed, okay, as a collective. People need to understand it. And then it needs to be removed surgically, undone. And the only way for people to be able to undo this, you got to prove it because you said you was this ascended and smart and intelligent. You should
Yeah.
be ascended and smart and intelligent enough to understand you are under psychosis. Yes, they did get you too. And the
Right.
government ain't going to stop these people. So don't tell me that they came and locked Rashad Jamal up because of that. I talked to Rashad Jamal's baby's mother. She was willing to put me on the phone with her daughters to talk to them. When she did that, that's why I said I don't need to talk to them. Because I know no mother is going to let you talk to that
Yeah.
11 or 14-year-old or 15,
Yeah.
16-year-old just so they can get the point of no mother is going to let you
Uh,
get their number and call and say you can talk to them. I'll get them on the phone now. No, this
no,
mother is
that's
telling
not a
the truth.
game.
You understand what I'm explaining to you? Meaning the mother is telling the truth about the children coming to her. And the daughter that she wanted me, another daughter she wanted me to talk to was a daughter that witnessed when Rashad Jamal put his hands on the mother and was choking her out. Now, again, I wasn't there to witness any of that, but that's where I said, no, I know women. Women ain't finna put their little girls on the phone with no grown ass man.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
this is somebody that and she was willing to come on the live. She cried, broke down, and she was explaining. I never brought no charges against him when he put his hands on me, when he put a gun in my head, and she's telling the truth. Ain't no charges like that against him. But she said I drew the line when it came to my child. You see what I'm saying? But
Right.
again, I wasn't there. I'm not saying he's guilty. My point is even with all of that, you got people that's gonna jump and say that the woman is lying and that the government paid her and da 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 da. Because y'all can't make sense of the fact that there was once upon a time where there were pastors who everybody loved that did heinous shit. There are people all over the internet coming out now because they got movements. Well, a lot of these men gonna have to be worried about because something that you think you did in the dark, the girl that you thought was just supposed to swipe it up under the rug. No, there are people coming out encouraging her to stand up and speak on it and say your name and put your picture up and put the text up and put the stuff up that you did to her. So people are standing.
Right.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay.
my point is, you can't keep blaming the government. If a leader falls, all this other stuff, you can't blame the government. If the leader is innocent, it wasn't even always the government. Look at the people that's around. Look at what they do and who rushed to try to take his spot or who stood to benefit. What was the motive? And then stop with this falsified community shit. It has to actually be a community. But when you really look at it, most of y'all don't live nowhere near each other. Niggas be in Tokyo talking about some weird community.
No, yeah.
You don't live nowhere near each other. You're not willing to. Y'all could be in 2 different states next to each other. Florida, Georgia. Nobody wants to just drive across state lines to be with each other for an event, let alone to live and build and grow. Stop that.
Right.
You don't want that for real. If you
It's
want
the
to fix this, you got to take back all the illusion. Take down all the paintings. That's not real windows. If you paint a square and paint some trees in the middle and some sky and the sun, it's not a window.
Mm-hmm.
That's still a painting. Take that down and start some real windows.
you know what
You
it
hear me?
is? A lot of your teachers won't tell you that it's scary. It is scary. It's a fearful task, right? But you have to learn to embrace the fear, make fear your friend, right? You have to understand fear. The things that we have to fight against, some of you just feel, I'm telling you, Faze, I know it for a fact. Many of these people feel helpless. They'll say they don't, and many of them have given up on the very people that they call their people.
I understand. So
They've
then,
give, they've given up on it. So we could say start the event, do the thing. That's all it takes. But I promise you, it will still not get done tomorrow or the next day or the next day. You see?
that's
And
yeah,
you
and
ask
that's
them
why.
why,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to give you the perfect scapegoat response. It was the
Yeah,
government. It was
Mm-hmm.
them. It was niggas just don't get along.
No, it comes
It's
down to a point where it's accountability. You gotta take accountability for your actions. That's the simple version. You gotta come to simplicity for real, for real.
no. See, the thing is, you don't even have to. You don't have to take accountability for a single action. But guess what? The results of those actions will still come about, right? So we don't have to take accountability for our ignorance. We don't have to take accountability for our failure to unite. We don't have to take accountability for any of that. But the consequences of that is what we're seeing right now.
Mm-hmm.
hey, Hevy,
You see?
I'm about to come back. I'm about to go out, come right back in.
Okay, got you. So that's the thing that we're dealing with as a people. The fact that we don't like the fallout from our foolishness or our
Yeah,
inability to unite. We don't like the fallout. We want to complain about not doing, but then complain about the results of not doing.
I feel you.
As if that's gonna stop. If I don't like you and I got my foot on your neck, you complaining about my foot on your neck is not gonna get my foot off your neck.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
It is not.
No.
Matter of fact, I might actually record it and put it online. How you complaining while my foot on your neck?
Yeah.
I'm gonna film it. They film it all the time, don't they? Film you picketing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't they film you crying? Oh
Yeah.
my baby!
Yeah.
don't they film you doing all that? Don't they show you?
Mm-hmm.
Don't they look at him?
Yeah.
Look at this nigga.
We
Yeah.
film
You
each
know?
other.
Yeah.
We film each other. We get at, we get to jumping on each other, beating on each other, shooting at each other. We film each other.
Yeah.
Right. And they laugh at us.
Listen, here's the reality. Buckle up, okay? A lot of you are gonna be left behind. There's gonna come a time again, like I told you, I'm gonna be speaking and you're not gonna understand it. So it won't even matter what I'm saying. You have to make the decision to stop trying to find an enemy in me because you can't conquer you. Somebody said that's a bar. You didn't say it, but you thought it.
Yeah.
Right? You didn't type it, but it was in your brain.
Right.
Stop trying to make me out to be an enemy because you can't conquer you. That's why you want me to see you. Y'all want me to see your comments. That's why you comment. You want me to see the DM. That's why you DM me. You want me to see your video. That's why you make it and you post it. And the 3 people that see it, you want me to be one. You want me to see you. You want me to validate you through interaction via an argument or debate. You want me to validate you because you haven't conquered you yet. I'm not out here begging anybody to see me. It's already seen, and it already isn't seen. So people are going to be left behind, fam. That's why I say, I'm going to literally say it again to the brother that's on here. Your key is your question. Notice when I say, ask me another one, ask me another one. How many questions do you have? Not answers.
Questions.
How many questions do you have? You want to know why they can't do nothing with me?
Why?
I got too many questions.
Right.
They think I got statements because I'm teaching about the question. Then they come up and say, make a claim. I say, that's your job. You said you were going to debunk me. You make the claim. Oh, do you consider yourself spiritual? No. I could have sworn you said that. I didn't. Oh, you believe in ether? No, I don't. Then where are you at? Why are you trying to figure out me?
Right.
Where are you? And what are you going to do with what you know or don't know? So start asking more questions. When people don't get offended, if people say, yeah, if you say stuff like they did this, they that, and somebody say, who is they? Don't get upset. If you don't have the answer, you need to reform how you stating things. Scientists ask more questions than they make statements.
Someone said, man, I fuck with homie music, but I'm lost as fuck.
I think his music come with a message.
Yeah, I think the music gives you the message. I think he puts out his message through the music. So
what are you lost at?
Yeah.
What are you lost at? What are you trying to figure out? Because if you're saying you lost, most of the time they say they lost, they have a sense of destination. So I'm on my way to the Walmart in a new neighborhood. I say, fuck, I'm lost. I like this road, but I'm lost. And I need to be asking how to get to the destination. Unless you just want to keep telling people you're lost. Unless it wasn't your intention to find a destination. Your intention was to make it seem as though I wasn't saying something by saying I'm lost. Then I can't help you because I don't even know where you at. It's different, y'all. I know it's different because what y'all may not understand is this is years, 23 years of question, times and times by myself. Literally, I went 3 years locked in my room. That's when I was building this platform. I wouldn't move. If I went outside, I went out somewhere. I come right back. I'm in my room, building, making the videos, doing the posts, doing the da-da-da, doing the shows, whatever, recording the music. Sometimes I would literally call my engineer to my house to record in my room. I locked myself up to study me. Y'all haven't done that.
Right.
You got to do that. You got to study you. What do you want? What's your goal with all of this? If your goal is to show up, sound nice, go ahead. Whoever said something, go ahead.
Nah, I was saying my goal is to be a better me and a better person. You know what I'm saying? Like,
boom. Do you be in the gym?
Yeah.
All right, you already on your way. Do you eat light?
Yeah. I'm trying to fast, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to like eat when the sun go down, you know what I'm saying?
You don't gotta try to fast. Either fast or you don't fast. You don't gotta try. Hustler, what's going on?
Hey, no, I just wanted to say, I think at this point, we can't save nobody. Like, they need to save themselves. We could just be a good example, and that's it.
That's good.
That's what I'm
Do
saying.
you? Let me ask you this: do you believe that there should be teachers like
Or help.
orators? You know, or they just should live it and not speak on it?
I mean, it's good to have a teacher, but if the student is not willing to listen and learn, then honestly, the teacher's wasting their time. That's what I've realized even with my personal life. Like me being a therapist for children, I've noticed that if the parents don't want to put the input to better their child, then what I'm doing is wasting my energy, and instead of me just finding a new family, who is willing to put in the work,
Yep.
That's a fact.
you
Let
know?
me let me ask you this: as you know, with all the stuff you've been around the black community enough to see some of these arguments that you see that's being had. And like I know, oftentimes they'll use the Latin community as you see how they stick together, yada 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 yada. You've heard that
Mm-hmm.
verbiage, I'm sure. Um,
Hmm.
from looking, what do you think is holding back that, preventing that?
Um, you know what? I'll say this because it's true. There are some Hispanic families that they do stick together, but then there's some that aren't, like mine. So I think there honestly is excuses, to be honest with
Mm-hmm.
you. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
excuses that is push like not just the black community. I think it's everyone. Like I think my last live, I had a guy go on my live and he was saying that there's like, oh, they're pushing us down and da da da. I'm like, no, they're not. Because if I'm 4'11" and I'm making things happen, I don't know what's your excuse when you're a man. So it's excuses for me, honestly. I think it's excuses.
Hmm.
I agree
Because
with that.
even family, I mean, I say this on my IG all the time. Like, yeah, you might have family and that's your blood, but blood doesn't mean that they're gonna have your back in reality. So I always say this, like, blood is not thicker than water, honestly, like not in this society. So you
Right.
gotta just what is it? What is the saying? They say, shut up and just do the work because no one cares. So
Right.
there's no excuses.
Mm. Whew.
Yep.
You said a mouthful.
I ain't gonna lie,
Now,
family do you worse than a stranger. So
Yeah.
now, have you
Yeah.
guys? Do you guys have the same experience as Lady Hustle? Like, your family wasn't aligned with your journey.
Yeah, of course. But I still
Mm.
love them. And as we grew, a lot of my family started to understand it. I had because I think that's like that with a lot of people. You talk about it, and I don't think that it's registering for them because it's just talk at that point. When you start putting a plan into action, I think it's natural for a lot more people to start paying attention, and then they start seeing the results. I think that's just human psychology and human nature. They're more apt to follow suit if you have on a suit. You know what I'm saying? Or
Mm.
they're more apt to get in the gym because you're telling them to get in the gym if you're not, out of shape telling them that. You stand there with a big belly, you know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
Neck rolls and, chunky cheeks, talking about some, man, you need to get in shape. They're not going to understand it. They like, it doesn't even register for them. But if you walk in and you're cut, you know what I mean? And you got your posture, you're like,
Right.
yo, man, you could do better. You already got that authoritative aura about your atmosphere.
Right.
People may sit up and listen.
Now,
Yeah.
A lot of people rock with me because one of the strongest signs of intelligence is your ability to relay a message.
Right.
Mm.
So a lot of people rock with me. People get it misconstrued. They think people rock with me because they think I'm the most intelligent or the smart or the god, or it ain't none of that. It's the fact that when people talk to me, when people want a reading, they get a reading that's tailored to them and their ability to communicate and receive information. When people want to be taken to another step, they are given tools, and I'm able to communicate tools and formulas they can use. When people are arguing with one another, the Christians versus Muslims, I'm able to make a post to show them how they're not ops. You understand? And this is where they can meet at common ground, and this is what the real issue is. It's your ability to communicate and find what it is that needs to be communicated for progress to happen. If people would look at life that way, okay, different people have different strengths. If people would look at life that way, it will be able to benefit them more, as opposed to, you know what, I don't know what's going on. I haven't been able to get the job. I'm lazy. I'm procrastinating. All of this stuff. So I'm trying to make excuses. If somebody comes and they're an expert in this, that, and the third, and you can see that they are, without just assuming it, you'll be able to benefit from that expertise. And one way that you can gauge whether or not somebody is an expert in a thing is effectiveness, results. So I'm an expert in speaking, communication. Okay, somebody else may be an expert in landscaping. Somebody else may be an expert in business and stock and exchange of the market. You understand? And then we'll be able to function on whichever ones that we are functioning on. But we don't have room for excuses. We don't have room for
So
that. I don't make the excuses. I make the progress. Go ahead.
that's powerful. We have a woman up here, so I want to ask this question because we can ask this one and have mature answers. Um, you've heard the rise in this yoni spirituality, right? Where women are speaking of the womb to a certain degree and their vaginal parts to a certain degree, and they've developed a spiritual belief around it, or they're bringing on older tradition and thoughts about it. What do you guys think of this movement, or have you even heard of it?
Is the Yanni stain? You asking about the Yanni stain or something like that?
Yeah, no, all the yoni talk and the
Yo, Hustle, you muted.
yes, I think she is. She seemed.
Yo,
I think
we
she was
can't
a
hear
loud
you.
person. But
Oh, my bad. I just realized I muted it because I wasn't sure if it was loud.
okay. So
Mhm.
have you heard this stuff going around? The yoni talk, the womb goddesses, and the all this stuff.
I think I have, but can you explain it into more detail?
Right. I don't know it all into great detail. I want to get more info
Oh,
on it. Yeah, that's
I
my
know what
oh,
whole.
you're
then I
talking about.
don't.
I know what you're talking
I
about.
don't.
Yeah,
That's
this
it's
is my.
basically like, okay, you got the sensuality. You
Yeah,
got,
very
yeah,
sensual.
it's like the can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we hear you.
Now we
It's
could.
very Lilith oriented. Uh, it's focused on sexual energy. It's like tantra, but
Mhm.
not tantra. It's like tantra without the abstinence and without the discipline and all this other stuff. I think the sisters are really attempting to get into their more feminine self, but because of the communities that they're in, there's a lot of root chakra energy. If you understand, that would be their language.
Is they trying to
It's
like harvest like
it's
the,
just
the
about sex.
It is.
I'm
yeah,
just
That's
trying
what.
to figure out how else to say this, because a lot of this stuff
yeah.
was done sacred. You didn't post
Right.
if you was working on yoni and your womb and I got to stretch and do yoga, but I'm in doggy style position looking at the camera talking about some I'm powerful. This is my energy. No,
Oh,
you know
no.
what you're doing this for. You see,
Mhm.
so if intentions were more pure, more results would be yielded. But people, I don't think it's about purity at this point. It's about attention.
Mhm.
It's an attention game. It's a clout game.
Yeah.
And yeah, and people feel all right. So they really want to have fun, but they've already marketed themselves to be against mainstream women and ratchet women and stuff like that. So they can't just twerk. They have to say twerking comes from Africa and wear a dashiki when they do it.
Mm.
You understand? And then it's like, oh, people say, oh, well, they're not twerking for real. They're still twerking.
Right.
You know. So again, it's if people marketed themselves a certain way, and now they don't know how to stand on it. So they trying to
Right.
remarket and rebrand the things that they actually enjoy because they haven't really ascended anywhere. They're still in the flesh. They're still dealing with desires and all this other stuff. And they're not taking on the main characteristic that would allow for them to evolve. Discipline.
Mm.
And I think
Yeah.
once you have that discipline, I think everything gonna come like a bliss. It's gonna be bliss. You gonna feel bliss moments. You know what I'm saying? Like when you feel like you getting knowledge from certain places, but you gonna feel as if like you completed yourself to like searching for the right knowledge. So